Hello there and welcome to my YouTube channel, Julia McNeil Crafts, and it's time for Dawn and Julia Create! Woo! And today we're going to build a robot. So these are packs from Madhatters. I sell these on my website. I'm maybe going to unwrap everything and then speak to you because it's going to be far too crunkly, isn't it? Look at that crazy amount of MDF you get. Madness. So good. Right, so it gives you a few serving suggestions here, but you don't have to do those sort of robots. Basically, you build your own. So there's different shapes here, and you can just have fun and build your own robot. So I know that Dawn bought this pack off because her order came through my shop, so I know that she had it. And so I thought, seeing as we both had it, why not? We should maybe build a robot. Basically, that was the sum total of my thinking. So yeah, I thought we'd build a robot today, or three. So we're to build 3 robots each. I don't know what we're doing with the robots yet. Yeah, that remains to be seen. So probably in another video, we may very well do something with these robots. But rather than it coming as a set piece, you are given the freedom to be able to do your own thing, which I think is an awesome idea. So I thought we should give it a go and see what occurs. So now I'm just sort of faffing about. Ooh, quite like a little bit under and underneath. Now the trouble is, as usual, I was actually very organised this month. I have to say, I was extremely organised, and I was well ahead of myself on many different things. And then I got off, the craft store contacted me and said, could you do a show on Sunday? Which I'm doing. But I've spent 2 days working on what we call the poll, or basically what we're putting on the show. And yeah, I've just realised I'm building this, but I don't particularly have anything to stick it to, if you know what I mean. So yeah, I'm just having a little play. So yeah, I was doing quite well, and now it is 7:20 on Friday night, and as you know, this goes up live at 6 on Saturday. I'm only half prepped for my shows on Sunday. Thankfully, some of the girls suggested I ask if I could do Skype, and I'm very grateful that I listened to them, because I don't particularly like doing shows via Skype. I much prefer being in the studio. I just feel calmer and better. But actually, considering the time frame, I'd been very stressed if I was trying to be getting things organised tonight, having barely prepped any demos. And yeah, so I'm quite glad that I listened. Oh yeah, I quite like that. Do I have a smaller one? Yeah. So as I said, what's cool about these is we're just given the option to do our own thing. We don't actually, it's not been done for us, so it's just another layer of creativity, which I love. Right, so oh, that's cute. She needs a wee smile though. Do I have something to give her a smile? Does she need a smile? What do we have? Just like a plain. Nah. Possibly. That's quite cute, although she doesn't have a skirt. Maybe that one should be a boy. I don't know. Decisions. Does that one look? Now I feel like I'm just faffing. Do you know what I'm going to do? I'm actually going to keep faffing, But I'm a bit concerned that this is going to end up being really long and I'm going to be really boring, and also I'm going to stop talking because I'm lost in the way of it. So I am actually just going to pop you on fast forward and fiddle about, and so you'll still be able to see the process, but hopefully it just won't be as long and painful to watch. Okay, I'll see you in a moment. Okay, so there's my 3 robots. I love this one. Little dinky, little short, chubby one. It's brilliant. I love it. Okay, and the reason I did that one there, it's kind of got like a key thing and then this. But to me that looks like little ears. Now, I haven't quite thought this through and I'm not sure quite how I'm going to gel medium this together. I'm wondering whether I might just need to sort of have little attaching bits of paper at the back or card just to sort of hold that together, because I think I sort of want to add a little bit of marble paste on some of it to make them nice and rusty looking and then paint them later. So yeah, I think I'm going to get bits of card and bits of gel medium and just try and glue that together. So yeah, I will go and get some scrap card and we'll see how we go with this. Could be fun. Okay, so I've taken a photo of my little bots so that I know that I'm doing okay and that, yeah, that I'm following the instructions. Sorry if this is a bit stroby in the camera. I need something to stick everything to, but it may sort of ooze out, so I need something that will peel off without wrecking. What I'm saying is making sense in my head. Whether the words are coordinating as successfully, I don't know. Just needing something just to sort of kind of hold it together while we stick it, and then we'll see how we go. So let me just grab some gel medium. So I might do this first one with you and then again sort of speed up the process. Oops. So I'm going to put a large amount on this and then just slide that behind there. Gel medium literally sticks anything to anything, so this is going to seem very wobbly and unstable as we do this, but once it dries we should be all good to go. The thing that will let this down will be the paper, not the gel medium. Right. But as I said, some of this is going to ooze out onto the mat, and because gel medium literally sticks anything to anything, there is a chance that I could end up gluing it to the surface below, which obviously I want to avoid. But because this is a non-stick mat, I should, if it does decide to adhere, I should be able to peel it off. That's the theory. Whether, and I'm also just sort of sticking this, a little bit of adhesive along here because that's going to connect to the MDF piece. And yeah, so between theory and reality, we will see if we'll see if this mad harebrained idea actually works. I didn't think this through when I thought up this challenge. That's the problem. Right, I need to move that paper over underneath. Just see it slightly. Why is that? I'll just squiggle the feet over. Okay. Right, this bit shouldn't be so hard. Oh, his feet look uneven. There we go. Oh, it's working because I'm managing to pick it up and it's holding, so we're all good. Right, there we go. Right, let me see now. What was his neck piece? It was 2 of these. So I now need a piece of paper that's going to hold all of that together. I've got some fairly strong. I've not gone for like cardboard because that's going to give dimension. I don't want dimension. I'm just wanting something to sort of temporarily hold it all together until we're stuck. And the reason I'm doing it this way is yes, we will, both Dawn and I will no doubt be doing something with these at a later date when I decide what we're doing next. But I don't know what it is we're doing next, so I kind of want the robot as an individual little robot so that I can, whatever I decide to do next, it works. Maybe just slide that up a bit more so I've got a bit more surface area for this block. So again, get that there and a little bit along here as well. This is actually working better than I thought it would when I was trying to explain what I wanted to try and do. Okay. Yep, we're getting there. Right, so I need a strip over here. Once we've done the bits that we need to sort of stick together with the paper, the other bits that stick on top should be a lot easier. Just be a bit thinner. Moving this bit with the fact there's so many joins in the neck could be entertaining. I'm already feeling it stick to the mat there. I just felt a sort of a did you like that? Like that description? I felt like as I picked it up. Dear, I've lost the plot. Tell you. It's a little bit protruding out of there, but I don't really want to cut it any narrower than it is. I can always chop that off with a craft knife later on. Right, so now we've got a bit over here. I love how dumpy he is. This is going to be really interesting because, as I said, both Dawn and I have this kit, but because there's complete and utter freedom to how you build your robot, so anyone that buys this, you're going to build it differently, you're going to see different things. Thankfully Wendy, as I said, has given a bit of a serving suggestion, so if you do sort of look at the pieces and go, oh, I don't know, there is like something to get you started. I have to say, when I opened it all up myself, and before, because I haven't like sort of sat down and crafted for a little while, not properly. I've been doing like different forms of crafting, like drawing and stuff like that, but actually sort of sitting and crafting, I've actually not done it in weeks. So my initial response there was like, oh, okay, what do I do now? But the fact I was able to sort of just look at Wendy's suggestions on the packaging, it's like, okay, right, that's what a robot looks like. And I've not followed any of her packaging ideas at all. But it was a starting point for me. I feel like there's something missing from, oh, okay, so that actually wasn't an eye at all. It was over here. Right, I seem to be missing, oh, I think that's part of this one. I think that's what's occurring, yes, okay. There we go. His eyes have been switched around from when I originally did it, but that's okay. It's bigger eyes on a different thing. I'm hoping I'm in focus. Right. And I'm just going to slide that up. This is the other beauty of gel medium, is that it does give you a little bit of wiggle room. So that's like I had that there, just not quite where I wanted it. I was just able to just smoosh it about a bit and get it where we want it to be. So I'll stick this one down here, and then I will move him over. So we'll see how successfully we manage to move him over on the mat. And then what I will do is, as I said, sorry for all the noise in the background. It's a family home. Family homes have noise. Just, oh, I've not actually glued that down, that's why it's not sticking. Good to know. Top tip. Right. As you can see, I'm putting plenty on. So what I will do now is, once we've tried moving him over there, I will once again pop you on speed up. Oops. I'm not too worried that there's bits coming through, because as I said, I do also fancy putting a bit of texture paste on these so that we can sort of get it so that he looks really rusty. Oh, see, that's the advantage of a non-slip mat. I've just managed to slide him over. So yeah, I'll pop you on fast forward whilst I build the other two. So I've kind of glued these together. As you will have seen when I was doing randomly, I was able to sort of pick that one up halfway through. It's because we were booked into like a Zoom safari thing, which was pretty cool. And in between time, it's allowed these guys to dry a little bit. So that is kind of worked for purposes. It's not overly strong, not in the like. The gel medium's not 100% dry, but it is just card that are holding these elements together. But it will allow us to sort of progress to the next stages. Now, I really want to put this marble texture paste on it, but also because those have dried fairly quick, because the gel medium is quite dry, I'm also kind of, I'm tempted not to, in that we had plans to go out tomorrow because my daughter was going to be going for a sleepover at a friend's, but there's COVID in my daughter's class. She doesn't have it, no signs of symptoms or anything like that, but there's 2 people from her class that are off with it, and where she was going to be going to stay, there's vulnerable members of that household, so kind of thought best safe than sorry. Poor thing's absolutely heartbroken. She's been crying for about an hour. So because of that, I thought I was going to have the day free tomorrow to be able to do some bits and pieces, catch up with getting ready for the show, and also sort of finish off this video. But now I'm going to make sure that I do something special with her because she's so upset. But yeah, so also, yeah, I don't have the same sort of time frame that I had before. So part of me is like thinking, whilst you've got the evening, you should sort of, as soon as these are kind of dry, you should kind of get on with it and not go for the whole rusty look. But because it was in my head, I mean, I might try force drying it, see what occurs when I do that. If not, I'm going to have to be getting up very early in the morning to finish this and edit this. And also prep another. I've got 4 demos prepped. I like to have at least 8. But I do have tomorrow and Sunday because the shows aren't until 5 o'clock. So if you are watching this on Saturday, I'm going to be on the old telly box tomorrow, 5 o'clock and 9 PM. So yeah, we will just have to wait and see what occurs. But yeah, I'm quite impressed. The other thing is I was like, right, I'll fit it in, and then my husband had completely rejigged my setup for recording so that it works for Skyping in, and so he changed the cameras over. He'd used the stand that I use for filming. He changed the sound, so I'm hoping the sound's okay because the sound has been set according to what they needed, and I'm not changing it because yeah, if I mess that up, that's going to be the worst that'll happen. Is this, the whole thing will be on speed up with an apology, or I'll do a voiceover. So I can make this, there's workarounds for this. So then, because of that, my husband ordered another clamp, because I'm going to have to need all these clamps and extra cameras and things when I've got my new studio. I keep talking about this new studio. My husband assures me that he needs a couple of full days, but that's the trouble, it's him getting a couple of full days to be at the stage where we start fitting it out. But I kind of feel like it's never going to happen. I know it sounds terrible, but I think he's been working on it for so long. I know it's been extenuating circumstance and things, but I'm just a bit like, yeah. But anyway, when I do eventually move into my studio, I've got lots of plans for like improving the quality of my YouTube videos, but also maybe looking at holding Zoom classes and things, and I've got lots of plans. But for that I'm going to need like decent camera, decent lighting. Ooh, don't want a big glob like that. So it was fine. So he's ordered another clamp, so that clamp's just arrived by Amazon today. Otherwise I would have had to phone Dawn and go, I'm so sorry. I did sort of say to her, there's a chance I might not make it. So, but I really I don't like to let her down or anyone else down, so I'm trying to fulfill my commitments and not back out of them too regularly. So I did want to give it a try. So anyway, the clamps arrived, and that's on. And then I could have done with all evening this evening to craft, but as I said, my mum had treated for us all to go on this African safari via Zoom. So it was good actually. It was really, really interesting. I learnt lots. Learnt lots of interesting information. So yeah, this is just going to mean when we sort of get to the stage where we're painting it, this is going to give such amazing texture and just make it look like rusty. I think for these robots I've got, and as you've seen there's loads left. For these robots I'm going for sort of a rusty old robots look, but there's still loads left in the pack, so like we're doing this as part of, I'm not going to move her as much because she's still quite wet, so if I move her there's a chance that we're going to sort of break up what's going on because it still needs to stick a bit more. Now to be honest, one of these had stuck to the mat a little bit, but I was just able to give it a shiggle and it moved, and that's the advantage of having worked on a non-stick mat, because as I said, gel medium will stick anything to anything. So had that been a lovely table, it would have stuck to the lovely table and you'd have either wrecked your MDF or the table trying to pull it apart. So that's where an anti-stick mat is just really great. So I'm trying to think of like, I've not really got much thought as to where all these rusty bits are going, just sort of getting a bit of a feel for it. So this is marble paste. I don't know if you can hear that crunch, but it's like, the texture on this is incredible. It's one of my favourite products. So I sell this as well. And also now she's brought out a coloured version. This is like the only one I've opened, but it's because it's an unusual colour. So this is like a dusky pink version, but it's the same sort of marbly texture. It's not quite as dense as the marble, I don't think. You can hear it. It's not quite as dense, but sort of like the cross between a sand and a marble. But that's lovely, but she's brought that out in loads of different colours. So again, great for doing patina. So I've got those as well. Just as a by the by. Not that these videos are about sort of promoting the shop, but it's just more that like quite often we get people wondering where we got our products from, so these ones I can very easily link to without much thought. Right, and maybe I'll put some in her hair, give her hair a bit more texture, because I don't have a huge amount of interest going on over here. And also I might hide some of the join. So I was about to say I'm sort of thinking about where the hinges and things would rust, but I'm really not thinking about that at all. That was just like waffle that I was going to say for the sake of saying it, which was just silly. I never do that, so there we go. It's like she's got little rusty bobbles in her hair. So cute. Right, so I'm going to leave this a little while and see. I might get away with being able to stay up another, what am I saying, it's 10 to 10. My daughter's still awake as well, how bad's that? She's just having her supper. I'm just going very gently with her because she's currently heartbroken. She completely understands though, but she was just so looking forward to it. But one of those things. Right. The joys of COVID life, eh? Right. There we go. I think that's... Is that us? Maybe put a little bit on her shoes, not too much because I don't want to hide that little heart. It's very cute. And the reason that I've done this on the back and not on the bristles is just that I don't want to wreck the bristles. So, yeah, I'm just going to try leaving it for a little while and then I might try force drying it. And then I need to decide whether we're going to go paint white gesso or black gesso. Part of me wants black because then you've got automatic shading done and then we can go really metallic. But then I'd quite like bright pieces for, you know, some of the features. So I'm not quite sure, but I'll have a contemplate on that. So I'll probably come back with it dried and gessoed and we'll go straight onto the colouring the next time I see you. Okay, so as you can see I went for black. I gave this one coat last night about midnight and I've got up and gave it another coat about an hour or so ago. It's still a bit damp in her, but I can always blatter that with a heat gun if I want to, because it will just add bubbles, which is texture. And I've got a mix of Pebble Paints that now because I'm going on to black, this particular one isn't showing up that much because it's not metallic, but I have pulled out some metallic paints, and I've also got these lovely whipped mousses from Pretty Gets Gritty. So I think ultimately that is what will go on. This particular colour is not proving overly successful, so I'm just going to put a quick wash. Now this is the thing, this is why it's good to experiment, because these are my go-to rusty colours, but I generally prefer my white gesso to my black, so it's catching in there a little bit. So we're still getting, it will still create a layer of interest, but I'm used to this sort of being really powerful colour and having to go really carefully with it, because I'm used to sort of working on white gesso a bit more. So this is why it's good to sort of mix it up, try different things, because you get to learn more about your products and how they work, etc. So what do we reckon? I reckon Dawn will have gone black gesso. I'm going to leave her last because her heart's still drying a little bit. Yeah, I reckon Dawn will have gone for black gesso. I also reckon she's going to be naming her robots. Do we reckon? I reckon that by the time she's finished her video, that her little characters will have names. So should we give mine names? There's me saying that paint didn't work quite successfully and I'm putting more of it out, but yeah, I kind of, it's fine. Oh, it's better if you go thicker. There we go. This is going to look worse before it looks better, so don't stress about it. And as I said, the reason I'm sort of persevering with it is when you look at like old metal, there's lots of coloration to it. There's lots of elements to it. So having different layers of different effects is a good thing. I'm just not sure if it's showing up. Now the advantage of working on 3 bops at the same time is that there's, I mean, not going to be as much drying time as I could actually do with. I think it's currently 9 o'clock in the morning, so technically I have loads of time to get this video sort of sorted. But as I was saying last night, my daughter was meant to be having a sleepover with a friend, and that's all been cancelled. And so we're going to find a wool shop in Inverness, because she's got into making pom-poms, so she wanted to buy some new wool. So I'm taking her out at 10 and we're going for a coffee. So I'm trying to get as much as I can done before 10 o'clock, and then after that it's going to be snatching moments of time throughout the day. So yeah, I'm trying. This will be one of those ones that, yeah, if I am up there with you at 6 o'clock, I'm very impressed with myself. I will do my level best. As I said, that's still wet in there, so I might have to get the heat gun to it. Right, whilst that's still wet, I might go on to this. Oh, see now, this one, still matte, but this one's showing up quite well. I'm just getting lots of rusty things. The other advantage with going black for your gesso is I spend a lot of time working on shadowing areas and things, and because the paint naturally sort of sits on top and doesn't go into all the grooves, you really have to work it to get it into the grooves. By not working it and just putting the colour on, if you've worked on black, you've naturally got yourself a little shadow area, so you don't have to work as hard at building up your shadows. So that is another advantage of it, which is fab. Fabulous rust colour, just gorgeous. So the Pretty Wet Mousses add texture and they've got a gorgeous metallic sheen to them, so I am planning on using them, but right at the end. I'll see what colours I've pulled out. I've not got myself the whole range, but I have the whole range sitting just there because part of my shop, so it's really really tempting. You know, when you're using something, you're like, oh, I could just do with it in that colour, and it's sat right there. It costed me a fortune. Right, I've got a bit of that on there, and while that's still slightly damp, I'm going to get some golds in as well. And just look at that. I love how old and rusty it looks. Now, had I had more time and thought about it a bit more before I slapped paint on all of them, I should have done like different coloured metals. I suppose the way I layer it up, I can maybe create slightly different looks, but I maybe should have had like a silver one or something. So the reason I'm sort of working in while it's still damp is, although we're wanting a metal look, I'm wanting a really aged metal look, and aged metal is not shiny. There will be elements of sheen that are still there, but a lot of it will be sort of dark and dingy. Right, I'm going to put in a bit of turquoise, and this is for that patina effect. So I'm going to also make sure that some of the turquoise is going on that textured element that I added, the marble paste. Because that's most likely where the most oxidization, which is what's happened for you to get that patina effect. It's basically there's been an oxidization process in the metal. It's caused it to decay, and that's where we get those bluey tones. So I'm putting them in various places, but I'm also just really making sure that I get them on those textured parts as well. So this is a turquoise, and these are all Pebble Paints I've got in them. This is the iridescent green, which I love. I love it because it's slightly got that grungy feel to it for doing patina, but it's also got, because it's iridescent, it's also got that sheen, which does give the that sort of damaged metal look. And then I'm going to get some white as well. I'm just going to get a different brush though, because I don't want to contaminate my gesso. I just want tiny bits of white. It's really hard to get tiny bits of white because it's quite a dominant thing, but I'm just going to get it on there, and then we can blend that out with the other colours again, so it's not an issue. I'm going to go back on with my turquoises and my green, and then I'll work to get the features that were in the MDF, and you know, to make their faces look real. I'll work in a little bit to get that sorted. So just mixing up the colours here. It's beginning to get a bit bright for me. Oops, and now that's too dark. You just keep faffing. And faffing until you're happy. I'm going to actually get a bit more, let's get the black gesso back out. Knock that colour back a little bit. Right, I think I'm going to have to wait for that to dry before we start building up again. But overall, I'm quite happy with him. He looks quite good. So I am literally going to be doing that same process through all of my bots. So I'm just going to pop you on fast forward, and once they're all at that stage, I'll come back with you and we'll work out what we're doing next. Okay, so that is my 3 bots all rested up, and yeah, they think they look fab. Now I'm just trying to decide. Oh, decisions. I don't know what to do next. I don't know whether to paint some of the details in and use some of this gorgeousness, or part of me is also thinking gilding flakes, a few gilding flakes. Look at that. This is Pretty Whipped Mousse, and it is designed as a stencil paste, but it's an all-purpose water-soluble paste. So you can use it almost like you would a gilding wax. You can water it down and paint with it. You can pop it on like a surface like this and create skins that you can peel off. So there's quite a lot that you can do with this. Plus, because it's designed as a paste, there is the ability for it to have the most amazing texture, which is pretty cool. So I'm thinking I'm just using a small brush, and I'm just thinking that I might just pick up some of the details of it, like we've got the little screw heads here, and I may do a little bit of dry brushing with it, I don't know. Just thinking that just to add a little bit of extra, more specific details, so that we're highlighting, that we've got the overall colour, but sort of so that we're highlighting features and things. It's amazing stuff. I actually need to swatch this out and have a proper play with it, so that I can really get to know the product well. I know it does lots of things, and I know that it's one of those things that it ticks lots of boxes. It works as a texture paste, it works as a paint, it works in so many different ways, that actually it's one of those sort of things that's really good value, because there's just so many uses to it, and the colours are divine. So I think I'm just going to pick up some of the little features. I've got a few different colours open, and there's masses of colours in the collection, so I might pop a few different colours on the various elements. I'm just highlighting some of these texture. I might do the ladder, and then I might do the heart and button in a different colour, I don't know. So it's a combination of painting, because I'm wanting definite details, and dry brushing. It's just that some of these have got gorgeous feature elements, and once we sort of uniform them all and rust it all over, you may be not seeing the individual elements quite so much, so it's just to make them pop out a little bit, so there's a bit of contrast between it all, but then there's still that sort of overall rusty hue. I wonder if, it's always interesting wondering if Dawn and I would like to guess what each other's going to do. We normally do quite well. I always said that if we were to do some sort of, like, you know, you get the programme Mr. and Mrs. that if we were to do some sort of like crafty friend quiz like that, I think we'd be quite unbeatable. We seem to know each other pretty well. It's like when my sister and I played Pictionary, we always won. It wasn't that we were particularly brilliant at Pictionary, but we just understood how each other's heads worked. So, and people thought we were cheating, but it was really funny. There was one time they split us up and had us on different teams, and we were both drawing at the same time, and we literally both do exactly the same thing. And that's the thing, it's just that our heads work the same, so we picked things up similarly. Maybe just add gold to the button. I wasn't going to, because I wanted to introduce another colour, but I think I will add a different colour on the heart. So that is our 3 little bots. Aren't they cute? So I don't know if you can see better now. I probably have to really zoom in for you to see the details. But yeah, that is them. So we've got Astrid, Bolt, and whatever this guy's called. I don't know. Saucepan Man? I really don't know, but thank you very much for joining me today. I'm sorry if I feel like I say this every time. I'm sorry if my head's not been quite in the game and the mouth and the brain hasn't been quite coordinating. One day I will be so organised I will amaze myself. Anywho, please do go pop over and see what Dawn's done, because she'll have shown you what you're actually supposed to be doing. She'll have done it with flair. So please do check out what she's done, because she's always amazing and I know she'll have knocked it out of the park. And I'm sure we will do something with these little guys at a later date. So please do subscribe if you're not already subscribed. Hit the notification bell and you can see what we do with these next. Okay, take care everybody, and I'll see you again very soon. Bye!